Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. It is finally happening. And ironically, we are starting at the end because that is what you suggested. I have never analyzed the Doors before. I probably heard them in passing somewhere, but I couldn't tell you what they sound like, much less hum one of their tunes. So it's honestly a little bit daunting to start with a song that is over 11 minutes long. But again, that is what you all recommended in the YouTube community post. So I'm going to follow your suggestion. Let's get to it. Ooh. Whoa. Whoa. There are so many different images brought to mind by the sounds I'm hearing. And it is very atmospheric. I understand that this is at the end of their album, and makes sense since the end at the end. Uh, but it feels like it's evoking so many different flavors of music right away, almost like we're in some sort of weird dreamland where rules don't necessarily apply. I'm going to go back to the beginning and just talk about a few of those. So just with this lingering cymbal and very, very light percussion, there's something about that that to me almost feels like it's evoking some sort of Asian culture that's fascinating. And then the pring, pring, it's like wind chimes, but a little more digital, fascinating. So it feels almost like there are some natural elements, like the wind that is coming into the music here. And this sound that starts up, it's like a little melody. It seems to have a lot of sentimentality built in, like longing, maybe accepted regret. And it lingers in that for quite a while. And then suddenly I have a distinct beat, which I didn't necessarily have before. And that bass that just started in, that bass actually reminds me of the bass that sets up the habanera in Carmen, which is very exotic and sexy. So, like, whoa, what a wide range of ideas that have been evoked in just the first 40 seconds of the song. It has a certain dance, and you add that tambourine, it's like you got a little flamenco or something happening.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end of everything that stands. The end, no safety or surprise. The end, I'll never look into your eyes again.
Yeah, the whole atmosphere feels rather hypnotizing, almost like we're dreaming in some way. Jim Morrison's voice, I'm really excited to get to finally dive into this because he is, it seems like one of those staple reference voices for people. Ozzy Osbourne is another one that people reference all the time. Oh, it sounds like Ozzy. And that drove me crazy because I didn't know what Ozzy sounded like for the longest time. And I've been feeling that way about Jim Morrison. People keep saying, oh, that person sounds like Jim. And I'm like, cool. I have no idea what that means. And for somebody who does this like professionally, who loves voices, analyzes them, researches them, has spent all of her life singing or messing around with voice in some way, to not get a staple reference like this, it's just been driving me bonkers. So I've been really looking forward to getting to hear his voice and dive into it for the first time. It is very deep in nature, and it sounds like very relaxed and resonant at the same time. I'm gonna go back a little way, maybe here-ish. No further.
This is the end, beautiful friend.
And there's a certain casualness to it.
This is the end, my only friend, the end.
The thing that strikes me the most is the overall tone quality or timbre of it. It has a dark, it's almost like wine, right? There's this really dark color, but it feels complex at the same time and very, very relaxed, like almost slightly inebriated when it comes to the actual enunciation. Yeah, his voice so far is like a nice cab.
My only friend, the end of our elaborate plans, the end of everything that stands, the end, no safety or surprise, the end, I'll never look into your eyes again.
And one of the things that I found so fascinating about him, reading about him, for some reason in my mind, uh, well, first of all, I made a mistake recently. Somebody said the doors open at 6, and I thought they were talking about the band, the doors opening, rather than the doors to the venue opening. That's because I had no reference, again, for when the doors were. I thought they might still be performing, but I did think in my head, aren't they like older metal? Still off. But when starting to read about them, I hadn't realized that Jim Morrison died really young. I, I was shocked to see that. For some reason, I kept thinking, people associate this as a big, deep, resonant, bassy, baritone voice. And often I think about that kind of voice like having a really nice, long, juicy career. Died at 27. That just blew me away. I learned that like 10 minutes ago, just so you know. And I was thinking about if I hadn't known that and I heard the sound, how old would I think that Jim Morrison is here? And I would say 40s. His sound, it sounds like the folds are really healthy, that they're connecting super cleanly. There's so much efficiency there that can be coming from youth, that there's a lot of pliability, but it has just a healthier, sort of sturdier overall color that would make me think of somebody that's a little bit older. It's fascinating.
Your surprise, the end, I'll never look into your eyes again.
Yeah.
Can you picture what will be so limitless and free, desperately in need of some stranger's hand?
And there's something that reminds me a bit of Peter Steele in here as well. That I'm guessing Peter Steele was probably influenced by the Doors rather than the reverse. I believe he came probably pretty far after this. I think it's so interesting how the sound has expanded more here, and it feels like it almost just feels like we're gazing over this incredible, vast landscape. It feels like it's suspended on some sort of hang glider. I think that's because we don't have any really strong kick driving the song forward. It's just all hanging out a little bit higher in the frequencies. The percussion all tends to feel a little bit higher and lighter. We still get some beats, but they're not driving like a techno song. I like. Okay, that's the second time I've heard that part and thought, yum. Yum. Mm. For some reason, the area or the idea of chocolate cherries keeps coming to mind, like dark cherries. That's that idea of that Cabernet, right? One with lots of chocolate and cherry notes. The bum 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 bum, the slide into that top note there, and the expression of it. It feels relaxed yet delicious and yearning at the same time. Mm.
So limitless and free,
And so
desperately in need of some stranger's hand in a desperate land.
Oh, that's fascinating. At the end of Land, there's a little instability that entered his voice there. Throughout this, I can hear a little bit older of a recording, right? Definitely doesn't sound like it has that pitch correction that I would associate with a lot of more modern records. And at the end of that, I think that little instability we hear in the voice, if people were tracking that today, they would retrack that section, meaning that they'd probably do a plug and replace of it. And I like it when we get moments like that are left in. I used to be super fascinated by how, quote, perfect production could make a voice. I am very fascinated still by how production can affect a voice, but I think if I had to pick just one, I would say toss all of the production in the world out and just give me human expression. I love human expression. I love hearing all of the emotions, all of the thoughts just poured into this vibration of the vocal folds. I think it's so incredible, magical, and having imperfections is part of being human. So this moment, I think, is a moment that should be treasured.
Stranger's hand in a desperate land.
Right there. There's a little at the end of Land. I'll play it one more time.
In a desperate land.
That's fascinating. The way that they build here, and honestly, the way that they've used percussion throughout the song feels more akin to percussion in a symphony, where you're not going to have a kick driving forward a strong beat the whole time. There's a little bit more fluidity in the various tempos. And then that roll there felt like more like a timpani roll to get us really going into the next part. There we have some guy. It's so exotic. Yeah. Okay. That like pluck, pitch, bend guitar thing is that it gives me the heebie-jeebies somehow. It almost feels like I have a mosquito that's being swatted by my ear. It's not bad. It just makes me feel things. Oh man. Okay. Wow. That, I know I'm pausing during the instrumental. I don't apologize, not today, because I feel like I would have a bit of an overload if I listened to that straight through. That low one in particular, it is so bold and like disturbing in the most okay way. go up to a minor third above it. Sassy. This makes me feel drunk. Oh, now it's sort of calm me down. Yeah, I like.
Lost in a romance, wilderness of pain, and all the
I love the way that keyboard instrument, I think, it sounded like close to an organ synth. I love the way that filled in the moment between the vocal. All of this has this very exotic feel. Gosh, it almost makes me think of when you smell a candle that takes you away to this sort of eastern land. There's heat and some sort of mirage in the idea of the smell, and then of course a really exotic scale. Yeah, there's that influence of that synth I
in
like.
a romance, wilderness of pain,
That is just
and
a moment.
all the children.
So that's interesting. Lost in a Roman wilderness of pain. And then right after that, that synth takes off and it's like a woo 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 kind of sound. It feels like some sort of really strange organ somehow. That it's almost the way it weaves feels like it's taking us through that wilderness there. One more time.
Wilderness of pain,
There's our weaving.
and all the children are insane.
Again weaving there.
All the children are insane, waiting.
Oh my gosh. Wow. It feels like the instruments are so tied to this story that he's telling. He'll say something and the instruments helps that something suddenly come into view. They help generate that picture or image of it. Fantastic. It almost feels like a lot of this was improvised as well. It's not going too many places harmonically, has a sort of static feeling, and it has this open bed that's ready for any person in the band to break out with a new idea to add this sort of mirage that we're creating.
Children are insane,
And that bend in the right side is just
waiting for the summer rain.
Oh, I love the build that he had there, waiting for the summer rain as he was building up into that. Also, his voice, he's very distinct about bringing notes in clearly or having a lot of slide and goo between them. And he really, when he has slide and goo, it's like very goopy. It is a lot of side to sound. Just a little, it's a, it's like way more slow, and it sounds always quite intentional, even though I think if I were to hear this just very shortly from somebody, if they did it all the time, I might think it was lazy singing. Instead, it's intentional in breaking down the boundaries between pitches.
Waiting for the summer rain.
Wow. Oh, there's that really cool. Wow. Huh.
There's danger.
So What I'm hearing starting to emerge is essentially lots of little motifs that I would associate with these images. Um, we had the one with the synth that I think is fascinating. There's that one that's got much longing underneath. Even the drum kit seems to have motifs, even though motifs are usually associated with a melodic content. I hear echoes of like memories that are kept essentially in the drum kit. All of these motifs feel like they're expanding this interesting picture. I'm not sure what exactly the picture is of, but it feels very broad reaching. And I'll get into the lyrics more, see if I can figure out what exactly we're looking at. Um, but I have to mention that idea of motifs. It is so powerful in some of the greatest music ever written. When you think about Star Wars or Jurassic Park, John Williams uses these motifs, leitmotifs even, to bring in themes of characters quite often. That comes from Wagner, right, who brought in these major themes in opera. And it is just, it's so fantastic to see how our music history brings us these elements and then they get folded into a different kind of music in ways that I wouldn't have expected. This one has almost this entire journey that I'm just taking in my mind as those motifs come back again and again. If you want to learn more about music history, music appreciation, especially opera appreciation, I will put a link below this video. I'm working on some courses for that. You can sign up for a waitlist and learn a lot more. I would love to share more love of music with all of you. Very sick, I like it.
There's danger on the edge of town. Ride the King's Highway, baby. Weird scenes inside the gold mine. Ride the highway west, baby.
One of the things I like about this mix is that I feel very clearly where different instruments are. And it's so fun when that guitar first started answering between the vocal phrases. It had like a certain spice to it. It was alive, a little more. It felt a little less lazy than some of the other song or sounds we're hearing in the music. And then the cymbals, especially in the drum kit, were just they're hanging out over here, essentially soaking the music and this atmosphere.
Ride the highway west, baby. Ride the snake. Ride.
That might be one of my favorite vocal moments from him so far. The way he brought in some more air, some more fluff, essentially, to his sound on Ride, and then backed off of it. It sounded dangerous and playful at the same time.
Ride the snake.
And the bend on Snake with the
Ride the
diphthong is fun.
snake.
One more time on that. I really like that.
Ride the snake.
Snake. Oh my gosh.
Ride the snake to the lake, the ancient lake, baby.
I cannot get over this feeling that I have of just being slightly drunk the entire time, intoxicated in some way. Maybe it was that sniff of that candle had something special in it. This this song makes me see things. It's like a hallucinogen. I think psychedelic is one of the words I've seen used to describe the Doors, and it is truly, that's a great word, hallucinogenic, psychedelic. It is. It is very different than I expected. I thought that this was going to have more of a classic rock feel to it after I was told it wasn't metal. So I've gone through so many versions of what the Doors have sounded like in my head so far. I still did not expect this one.
To the lake,
It's so cool how he uses a diphthong there to slide. Oh, diphthong, by the way, in case you don't know, diphthong is when you combine two vowels into one sound. So a is a diphthong of e. So we have e, lake. And as he's moving to the second vowel in that sound, he's using it to slide down to another pitch. Creates this really creepy, dreamy effect.
to the lake, the ancient lake, baby. The snake is long, 7 miles. Ride the snake. He's old and his skin is cold.
Was that some sort of sexual reference right there? I'm riding a snake to the lake. He's old and his skin is cold. What? I'm not sure. Those lyrics feel rather vague. And I finally figured out where I think the setting of this is in my brain. And it is definitely in a hookah lounge. Who else is there with me? Hookah lounge, talking with friends about something that probably never actually happened. Gonna go back a little bit.
And his skin is cold.
So much bending.
The West is the best.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. I normally don't state really strong preferences that might alienate a large part of the audience, but West is best. West Coast. I mean, I love the West Coast. I've been on the East Coast. There are so many great things about it. Okay, don't get me wrong. I like all of the shows in New York are extraordinary. I had the most amazing grad school experience in Philadelphia too. Florida has lots of incredible beaches and people. Anyhow, Sleep No More in New York. Incredible show. If you ever get to see it, go. Just go to see Sleep No More and go to see the Met too. All of these things said, I'm such a West Coast girl. I love the West Coast. I mean, I grew up in Washington State. Like, I love the West Coast. And Europe is super awesome, and all these other places in the world are awesome. We're really just talking about U.S. locations right now. Okay, so West Coast, West Coast. Argue with me, please.
Is the best.
So I'm going to play that again just in case you didn't hear him say it too.
The West is the best. The West is the best. Get here and we'll do the rest.
Is he just trying to rhyme here?
The blue bus is calling us.
So that's definitely an introduction of some new melodic material for the voice. Every time though we get this interesting synth underneath that has that exotic feel, I get this idea that it's designed somehow around one of those flutes with the snake. That you're playing not a transverse, the other kind of flute, and the snake is raising out of the basket. That's that kind of exotic skill. Anyhow, new melodic material here for Jim Morrison's voice, going somewhere else. There's a snake. This is it.
Is calling us. The blue bus is calling.
was such a cool response from the drum kit, asking where they're gonna go. Where are you taking us, driver? Where are you taking us? Like boom, paddle, paddle, paddle. Maybe going over a rocky, bumpy road. Blue bus is calling us. Gosh, so many interesting interpretations of that. I think about the Matrix, the red pill, and the blue pill. Blue bus is calling us. Let's try that one. Why, oh, why didn't I take the blue bus? And it also makes me think of children's books because, as some of you probably know, Little Blue Truck is a big, big deal for many 2-year-olds, many 1-year-olds even. Uh, and I wonder if this is somehow referencing something caught up in childhood because it feels like it's calling back to some sort of subconscious desire for a vehicle that is blue. I might be reading into that too much. Probably.
Travel where you taken us.
Bumpy roads.
The killer awoke before dawn. He put his boots on. He took a face from the ancient gallery and he walked on down the hall. He went into the room where his sister lived and
This is fascinating. This section, it started off like it wanted to be still a sung melody and then it became more spoken. It almost felt like it was in Sprechstimme at first, like speak voice. It's very, very, very curious. It's a narration, but it's elongated, so it's not quite fully spoken, at least not yet.
he put his boots on.
Further.
The killer awoke before dawn.
Yeah, that definitely, I could tell
He
you
put
what
his
those
boots
pitches are.
on.
He put his boots on. Right.
He took a face from the ancient gallery and he walked on down the hall.
He took a face from the ancient gallery? Is this Arya Stark? I'm sorry. Did Arya Stark just grab a face? Were they foreshadowing Game of Thrones and how badly the last seasons ended? I cannot get over that. I still can't get over it. Anyhow, fascinating words.
From the ancient gallery and he walked on down the hall. He went into the room where his sister lived and then he paid a visit to his brother and then he walked on down the hall.
This is starting to feel unhinged. And I think that's good. It feels almost like we've gone so far in this mirage dream that it needs to go somewhere. We've been hanging out in a La La Land, and the drama is ready to happen. The way he just yelled out, "Walked on down the hall," walked on down the hall. It had like almost a Jack Nicholson feel for The Shining. I'm imagining that kind of scary hall. But the foreboding sense in the story of talking to the sister and brother was also fantastic.
Paid a visit to his brother and then he walked on down the hall.
Little area
And he came to a door and he looked inside. Father, yeah.
Oh my gosh. The way that he looked inside and then just there was this pause, this lull in the music there. It built up so much anticipation. That was crazy. Because you could feel the character looking at something and just watching it, it felt really unhinged. Like it was watching it for a little bit too long, coming up with something bad. Whew. That was
And
awesome.
he came to a door, and he looked inside.
Nice chord in there too.
Father, yes, son, I want to kill you.
Wow. That delivery was amazing. This is so interesting. I actually think that this half-spoken delivery is even better than the sung delivery. The sung delivery felt like it was lulling me into this hypnotic state the entire time. And then it's like we are in the hourglass of like that our life is slipping away, that the time is flowing. And by the time the song is done, it's just going to be the end. It is insane how he varied the rhythm in this section. If you were to read the lyrics straight out, you would not come up with a rhythm like this. At least I don't think you would. I think because he's taking the rhythm and switching it up so much from what we might normally say, it makes it even more chilling.
Father, yes, son, I want to kill you.
Yikes.
Mother, I want to.
Oh my gosh. I felt my entire body break out in shivers and goosebumps. It's just, that was such an incredible primal utterance. And it had so much emotion packed behind it. And then the way that the instruments seemed to just start to fall apart was, it felt like chilling. Yes, I literally feel cold all over right now. Twisting in my gut. It feels almost like the top of my stomach just went like that. It was, it felt like a glimpse at insanity. Wow. That has got to be one of the most incredible moments of vocal expression I've ever heard. It is so ugly.
I want to.
Like if you see like anime monsters sort of ripping body parts here and there, like they're coming apart. Maybe you have some extra appendages. That's what I hear in this moment.
I want to.
And I have no idea if that is made in a healthy way. It actually sounds like it might be a little damaging to me, but no way to really know. And not from this section, at least. And I think it's okay to use your vocal budget to your advantage. So in this case, he's been having this beautiful singing throughout. Even the narration portion feels so well supported with technique and everything, like very, very pliable vocal folds. And then we get to this section and it's like, okay, you were banking up, you were saving your vocal endurance so you could do this crazy sound. And maybe there are more sounds coming up. I don't know. This sound is amazing.
I want to.
It's like that mirage just fell apart for a moment. We're back into the haze.
Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us and meet me at the back of the blue bus. Do not blue rock on that blue bus. Do not, come on,
Oh my gosh, I love the way this is evolving, the way that they brought the blue bus back. And there's an insistence and demand and a fervor that I hear in the sound that's amazing. I'm going to roll back a little bit because it feels like this is gearing up to go on a ride. I have a feeling I might let it roll for a little while. The energy wants to go somewhere.
Come on, baby, take a chance with
So
us.
bluesy.
Come on, baby, take a chance with us and meet me at the back of the blue bus. Do not blue rock on that blue bus. Do not, come on, yeah.
Okay, it feels like it's starting to roll out there. I'm going to come back quite a way and we're going to talk about this whole section. I was right that it felt like it was building up to something that was just shouldn't be stopped, like a sex scene in the back of the blue bus. So like, maybe we should let that play out for just a bit. There are so many fascinating things he's doing with his voice here, and fascinating things happening in the music. I still can't decide if this is a real moment or if this is some sort of imaginary thing that's happening in a haze. It really feels like they drew us in at the beginning, and then I feel like it's going slightly insane. It's it is. It feels like almost like a crazy amusement park ride in the smoke. It's really, really nuts. I'll go back a little bit. We'll talk about all the details.
A chance with us.
Yeah, I think it's really in the fun.
Come on, baby, take a chance with us and
That
meet
bulb
me at
is
the
drawing us
back
in the
of
whole
the
time.
blue bus. Do not blue rock on that blue bus. Do not, come on, yeah.
Right when he yells that, "Come on, yeah," that's bringing in a little extra distortion on top. I think you all can hear that too. That makes me think airy epiglottic folds. That's where it sounds like it's coming to me, but there are different kinds of structures that are upper laryngeal structures that can make that kind of distortion. And I think it has a really great sound to it. It has a desperation that's built in.
Bus, do not blue rock on that blue bus. Do not, come on, yeah.
And this feels almost like a little hillbilly. right? Somehow. Ooh. I feel like he could be a vampire in True Blood, right? That like vampire series that's set in the South. Anyhow, right? There's that hypnotization thing that's happening, and then it's almost like we got bit. I really like that. Oh my God, this. So the moment that this sound started up, I immediately thought about Korn, right? It almost feels like we're getting these sort of nonsense utterances here, which I figured out later were meant some other things. But at first, the way he's dividing them up, it's like, what are the words here? What is even happening? It feels like it's intended just for sound and communication of emotion rather than trying to actually give you a lyric. I'm gonna take a moment and cuss just a little bit. So, in the word fuck, you have an F at the beginning and a K sound at the end, and then a vowel in the middle. And the reason it's really hard to actually tell what this word is at first is because singing is usually carried on vowels. I know, you never thought that this word would be so educational. Singing is usually carried on the vowels. So the sound, or even if you wanted to heighten or elevate that to some sort of like pristine speech, you would be singing an fuck, right? That would be a heightened version of the sound. Since we're losing the vowel entirely, both the F and the K sound, those have no pitch underneath. So we can't get any sort of melody in there. There's no pitch to carry a melody. If he was going to open up and have that vowel on a pitch, then we would actually probably recognize what the word is a little bit better and we could get a melody. But instead we have this sort of fascinating utterance that is just created by non-pitched consonances. Consonances. I was doing so well until I got to the consonants. English is hard.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Yeah. At one point, he did a yeah, which is like this compression of all that pharyngeal space. The larynx goes way up, squeezes all that area. It's the exact opposite of where his natural tone lies. I thought that was so fascinating to hear a polar opposite in this bit.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
It's like Beetlejuice almost. I hate that part.
Yeah. Come on, baby. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. All right.
Great use of tempo. I think that we have once again great uses of instruments to portray a situation. Rising tempo, lots of crashes at the end, right? It starts to feel a little bit out of control. I think we all know what this is about. And the wind down. into the haze. I just, I really love the use of the tempo and the crashes and wind down everything in there. It feels like they musically replicated this situation extremely well. It's almost like we have a tone poem going on here. It is definitely painting this beautiful, hazy, psychedelic picture. Let's keep going.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end. It hurts to set you free, but you'll never follow me.
It's so interesting because these lyrics feel so different if I'm to take them into the perspective of different sections, right? We had this blue bus section, and then we had this family section, and this is the end feels like it could be a murderous situation when related to family, and this is the end when related to the blue bus is just maybe the end of a relationship there, saying thank you for the moment in time, and there's no way you would line your life up with mine, so no commitment here, we're done. I think that the vagueness in the lyrics are fascinating, and perhaps it's meant for people to interpret this however they need to in the moment, whatever perhaps a person needs to close or maybe is being forced to close in their life. This can be a way to help get through that.
Never follow me. The end.
Oh, that's pretty.
Laughter and soft light.
Sorry, that was really pretty. Back.
The end of laughter and soft light.
I love how smooth and easy that was. It felt like it just took a lot of the weight of the voice off. So going to much more CT, cricothyroid dominant sound, those vocal folds get stretched out a little bit more. They don't have as much thyroretinoid engagement. So when they come together, they don't go wacka, wacka, wacka like they do in the lower registers, but they go wacka, wacka, wacka in a higher area, have a lot less fold coming together, creates a lighter, thinner sound, and then he has such a beautiful flow of air beneath it that keeps that fluffy, fluffy, fluffy happening. One more time.
But you'll never follow me.
One more time.
It hurts to set you free, but you'll never follow me. The end of laughter and soft light.
Oh, it's so soft. That's the perfect description for his voice.
The end
soft.
of nights we try to die.
I wonder how much of this was improvised to compose it.
This is the end.
Ooh, major chord at the end? Okay, it has a happy ending. This is a work of art, and I'm so glad that you all chose this song for my first introduction to The Doors. It felt like I got to enter into their universe for a bit and see something that was truly just a little bit insane. If you want to see some more analyses of songs that you specifically have recommended the most, check out this playlist over here, and may you fall more in love with music every day.